Yes, I think we are set. We are all set, I think. Okay, we will start. यस्मात् जातं जगत् सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते। ॐ शन्नो मित्रशं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः। नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्याद्यमृतात्संबभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया आस्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुवं ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय। So we saw up to this chanting, the last chanting I did in fourth anuvaka. So this is just the first part of the fourth anuvaka of Taittiriya Upanishad. Just to recollect, in Taittiriya Upanishad we have all the three sadhanas which at all we can practice. First is the manasika sadhana, which is upasana. You can take something and then that's the first thing we saw in the third anuvaka, samhito upasana. Then you also have vachika sadhana, which is japa. It is repeatedly telling. That's why it's called vachika, because we utter repeatedly. So what I chanted now, yes chandasam rishabho vishwarupaha arabhya shrutam me gopaya, up to that, that is japa mantra. So that is vachika. We are yet to see the second part of anuvaka 4, which is kayika sadhana. Kayika sadhana is use your limbs, use your body. When you do a homa, you will have to use your In some sense, you have to use your body. So that is the third part. So in Anuvaka 4, the first mantra is Vachika Sadhana, because it is a japa. And the second mantra, which we are going to see now today, is a Kayika mantra, sadhana, because it is, you do homa, which is exerting our body and so on. I also want you to remember that in Anuvaka 4, which we are seeing, Omkara is the reference. That's Yas Chandasam Rishabho Vishwarupaha. Of all the chandas, this is the bull, Rishabha. Pradhanyatyat Rishabha. That is what Shankaracharya's Bhashya says. So it is Omkara which is taken as the reference, because ultimately Brahman is Nirguna. You have to somehow bring it into some form and shape and sound or something. So in this Anuvaka, Omkara is the Alambana. So in the entire Anuvaka, we should remember it is all about Omkara is the proxy for Nirguna Brahman. So I want you to remember that also. Before we go into the mantras for the day, I want to make a certain observation. I want to bring to your attention something which I do not know whether you noticed or not, and which we will notice. In fact, the entire Vedantic literature, Upanishads, ancient Indian literature, you will actually notice this. So what is that? Look at the prayer of our ancestors. These are all prayers, right? It says, Karnabhyam Bhuri Vishravam. Jikhvame Madhumattama. Let my tongue speak only sweet things. Karnabhyam Bhuri Vishravam. Let me hear fullness. Let me hear things which are nothing but ultimate fullness, which make me a complete person. I should hear like that. So, if you notice, we will see more and more of this. What you will notice are three very nice things. We must appreciate this. Because our ancestors, we are no match to our ancestors. That is what I want to actually emphasize. So in all these prayers that these ancestors make, you will find always you will find three things. First thing is, these prayers are very positive, very generous. Shanno mitrasham varna badram karne bishrunuyama devaha badram pashyema kshabir yajatraha. Look at the pitch they have. Let's hear only badram, safe things. Let's see only badram. Let the ears be there only for hearing things which are safe. This is how their prayers. Badra krato yantu vishwataha. So let good things come from everywhere. Everywhere these prayers are like this. They are very positive. They are very generous. We cannot match this in today's terms. Number one. They are very grand in their appeal. They are not asking chota mota things. They are very grand. Look at the spirit of what they are doing. When they do a prayer, they are asking very grand things. Even the short prayer you see, Jikhvame madhumattama, and then Brahmana koshosi medaya pihitaha shutam me gopaya. All that I hear, let it protect me. So these are all not small things. They really ask very grand things. This is the second. The third thing which we have to really have an eye for detail, the third thing you will find in these prayers is it will include a great deal of materialism. This is a big misconception we have about ancestors. We think they are not interested in money. Actually, they are more interested in money. Who said they are not interested in money? It's a great deal of materialism. Even today's mantras, you see what kind of things they are going to ask in this mantra. So they will ask riches, they will ask cattle, they will ask progeny, they will ask property. What more do you want to think? They will ask all that. So there are three dimensions. It will be always positive and grand. It will be very grand, generous. It will include a great deal of materialism. Of course, they say, give us the riches, give us the best of the riches. So now the question is, then what is it that they are trying to do? How is it different? Because we are also interested in riches today. So the question is, what is the critical difference? This is where the ancestors and our current thinking actually differs. So they ask for material prosperity, they ask for health. Pashyema sharadashatam. Every day in Sandhya Vandana we say that. Jeevema sharadashatam. Let me see 100 Sharad Ritus, which means let me live 100 years. Right? When a married lady actually takes offers a pranams, they say Dirgha Sumangli Bhava. It is 1 2-in-1 proposition. If you have to be Dirgha Sumangli, your husband must also be there. So that is the kind of, it's very grand. And we ask some riches, we ask safety, security, everything. So they were never found wanting in asking material richness. What is the most shining example? I have told this several times in the past. In our Gita lecture also I have mentioned this. What is the most shining example? Whenever Rudra Prashna is uttered, immediately Chamaka Prashna will be, it is a package. It is a package. With Rudra immediately they will say Chamaka. And I have been repeatedly saying, if you want to write a wish list of what you want, go and memorize Chamaka. That kind of thing. Of course, the last anuvaka and chamaka, hence we say yajno yajnena kalpatam. That's a grandeur of, that is their method to asking. We will come to it. While they will ask a lot of riches, they will say finally, after asking 11 paragraphs of all kinds of riches, finally Chamaka Prashna ended by saying yajno yajnena kalpatam. Everything is prano yajnena kalpatam, apano yajnena kalpatam, vyano yajnena kalpatam, Chakshur yajnena kalpata, Gashotram yajnena kalpatam, Mano yajnena kalpatam, Vak yajnena kalpatam, Atma yajnena kalpatam. Then finally it said yajno yajnena kalpatam. So they had a framework to ask. That framework is called yajna. So the crucial difference between their asking richness, their asking for material prosperity, and today our journey towards material prosperity, there is a crucial difference. That crucial difference is, we saw it in Bhagavad Gita. I want to remind it today, because in all these shlokas you will find that perspective was very different. While they also wanted a lot of money, they also wanted riches. Today we are also saying we want rich, we want all richness, we want happiness, we want material comfort and all that. But there was one very, very important difference. The important difference was, they said wealth is not for my requirement, using it for my requirement is incidental. When I say wealth, it includes the progeny also. Marriage is not for progeny. Progeny is incidental in the marriage paradigm. Marriage paradigm is a much bigger paradigm in which progeny is of course an important thing. It's incidental to a larger principle that they have taken. So in the same way, all kinds of wealth is they asked for, but using it for my own use was incidental. They had something bigger. It is not to, what is today's paradigm? Today's paradigm is, let me first enjoy, and after I enjoy, let me have a 2% CSR, 3% CSR, whatever, or I also give a little bit to people. I also give a little bit to people. That is today's scheme. We first want to enjoy and be comfortable, whereas they actually turned the table 180 degree. They said, I want money because I want to spread the fortune. And how do you know it? That's why every ritual, in fact, first of all, yajna, homa, havana was an important element of our living. And the most important, any ritual you do sakama or nishkamya karma, you do Aisha homa for your son or daughter, you do some putra kameshti, whatever you do. Every ritual we do, ritual is incomplete and null and void if you don't end with dana. And there are various versions available. Dharma Shastra is very practical. It doesn't force everyone to do dana of every variety. It says, tell me how good you are, I will tell you what scale of dana you have to give. It's like saying you have 1 lakh marriage and 1 crore marriage also. So 1 crore marriage has a certain pomp and splendor. 1 lakh marriage doesn't have, but there are some core rituals which are not compromised. In the same way, our dana giving was part of every ritual that we do. From a smallest activity, our Panchamaha Yajnas, which I also again spoke in Bhagavad Gita, is our daily living. That was the crucial difference. Crucial difference is, they said, we want lot of money, but I want to give it and share the fortune with the community at large, and sharing it with the community at large was considered very auspicious, very important, and a pious way of living. That is the perspective that they brought. They said, I want all these, but I want to spread the riches. I want to have the joy. That's why you go to the villages today, you go and see, come summer, people actually set up, buttermilk on the road. It doesn't matter who actually takes it. We want help. From the smallest possible, a simple person who has a wherewithal to actually, I have seen it in villages. Throughout the 2 months, 3 months of summer, there will be sort of stalls where they keep a buttermilk. Anybody can drink. It may get over in 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. Doesn't matter. The spirit is that is what considered very, very important. In fact, the whole Pancha Yajna concept is so look at this shloka. We saw it in Bhagavad Gita. We must remember it today when I was talking here. He said in 10th shloka in chapter 3, beautifully he said, Saha yajnaha prajaha srishtva purovacha prajapatihi. Pura uvacha prajapatihi. Prajapati long back told, Prajapati is the Lord of Prajas. He is the one who created these living beings in the world. So, Saha yajnaha prajaha srishtva, with yajna, with prajaha, with all living beings, he also created a concept called yajna. Saha yajnaha prajaha srishtva, puro uvacha prajapatihi. And what did he say? Anena prasavishyadvam. Go and then yeshavo astu ishtakama dukka. Go and milk your cow of desire. Ishtakama duk. You milk your cow of desire. How? With the governing principle of yajna. That's what he said. You go and enjoy, but whatever you want to enjoy for yourself must be in the framework of yajna. And in 2 shlokas later, Devan bhavayata anan anena te deva bhavayantu aha. That's the next shloka. In the 3rd shloka, what did he say? He said, Taihi dattan. Devas give you a lot of riches. None of the natural resources science and technology can create. Science and technology can reuse it. Natural resources, not even an iota they can create. You can use it, misuse it, abuse it, all that we can do. Tell me one thing that man found which never existed in this nature. Not possible. What he found was out of nature. So it is the Devas who gives us bountiful of nature. That's what the 3rd shloka says. And then the next line it says, Taihi dattan apradayebhyah. What the Devas give you, you were so selfish, you did not want to give to others. You consumed everything. Right? He says, apradayebhyah yo bhunkte. That person who eats like that, stena evasaha. He is a thief. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. So that is the spirit of all these prayers. These prayers will ask for bounty, riches. It will ask for give me everything. Why? I want to give it. Of course I want to use it. So that yajna is that framework in which I will use it and I will also give it. So you will find in many of these prayers, in these Upanishads, you will find these 3 aspects. It will be grand, it will be very, very generous, and it will ask for riches. So let us see now. We have seen up to, Shrutam me gopaya, up to that we saw. Today we see avahanti vitanvana kurvana chiramatmanah vasagum simamagavascha. From that we will see. So up to Shrutam me gopaya we saw last class. So we'll start from avahanti vitanvana. That's why, since it starts with avahanti vitanvana, this is called avahanti homa mantra. Normally you use the starter and use it. It's one way to remember. So the rest of the shlokas are avahanti homa mantraha. So far japa mantra. Last week we saw japa mantra. Now we will see homa mantra. So what does it say? So we will see that. Kurvana chiramatmanah vasagum simamagavascha annapane cha sarvada tato me shriyamavaha lomasham pashubis sahaswaha amayantu brahmacharina swaha vimayantu brahmacharina swaha Pramayantu brahmacharina swaha. Damayantu brahmacharina swaha. Shamayantu brahmacharina swaha. Yasho janesani swaha. Shreyan vasyasosani swaha. Tantva bhaga pravishani swaha. Sama bhaga pravisha swaha. Tasmin sahasrashake nibagaham tvayi mrije swaha. Yata paf pravatayanti yata masa aharjaram. Yevam mam brahmacharinaha dhatarayantu sarvata swaha. Prativeshosi pramabhagi pramapadyasva. This is one long mantra. And this entire thing, as you see, ends with swaha, swaha. So swaha is only a terminal. Swaha has no meaning in this prose order. By attaching the word swaha, it only remains this is a homartha. Homartham eta mantraha vyavaharante. So therefore you can use these mantras and make an, whenever the swaha comes, we can make an offering in the oblation. So that is what is reminded by the... Okay. So we'll see the first part. So, avahanti vitanvana kurvana chiramatmanaha vasa gumsi mamagavascha annapane cha sarvada tato me shriyamavaha lomasham pasubhisaha swaha. We'll see the first one. The order is, there are certain things that you will find in Vedic narration which will actually violate the grammatical things which we are used to in today's things. They have the license. Because Panini came much after this. These are apurusheya. This is anadi and ananta. So he couldn't fit all these. So some of the chandas prayogas are kept outside. That's why there you will find a little. I'll show some of them today. Anyway, so let us start. It starts from here. Tato me shriyam avaha. That's where it starts. Tataha me shriyam avaha. Tataha means thereafter. Thereafter, may to me, Shriyam, Shri, give me the wealth, give me the riches. Shriyam avaha, let it come to me. Let the prosperity be mine. So the question is, what is why? In fact, in Veda, they don't. In Veda, you don't find words just to fill hill and all that. Tataha itself, we can explain, in a very elaborate fashion, why did the word tataha came here? Thereafter. After what? Shankaracharya's Bhashya, he has actually mentioned. Tataha tirte kahartaha. He has actually mentioned. What he is saying, he brings a very nice perspective. Thereafter means after what? So he says, before you get wealth, you must have a certain level of intelligence and knowledge. In fact, the previous Japa mantra is all about that. It said, give me Meda Shakti. This is what we found in the previous Japa mantra. Let my indriyas are all, let it be fine, let me hear the good things, let whatever I heard and learned protect me. So Aishankara says, if you leave wealth in the hands of people who are bereft of knowledge, it is like giving a loaded pistol in the hand of a child or something. I do not know. It can go haywire. In fact, that is why our purusharthas are also strictly ordered. Dharmartha kama moksha. First dharma. You get the governing principles of what you have to do if you get money. It is not you get money and then find out what to do with that. That's a very bad, that's what, there are lots of people who have suddenly become rich without knowing what to do because their real estate prospered, they were all just there and sold and became, several crorepati's. Then they buy a char-bangle gadi and all that. In Gurgaon, I hear quite a few people saying, I have a char-bangle gadi. Adi. Adi, 4 bangles. Char-bangle gadi. So he says, that if you try to give wealth in the hands of people who do not know the larger principles of what to do with that, there can be a lot of mess that can happen. It can be put to wrong use, it can make one inebriated, it can create a certain kind of a problem for him and others. We are actually seeing some of these. In our own ways we can think about, reflect on these ideas. So, tataha here connects to the previous japa mantra. It says, after I have a good meda shakti, my indriyas are all good, I am able to retain. What is meda? Dharana shakti. Retention and grahana and dharana is meda shakti. Your ability to grasp, your ability to retain. That's why you first ask for it. Only with that kind of a basic thing you should get the riches. Otherwise riches may become meaningless. So that is the meaning of tataha. So after that, shriyam avaha, me shriyam avaha. Let me get the riches. Now the question is, what is that? Before that, there is something. Avahanti vitanvana. Avahanti means anayanti, brings. You bring. Vitanvana is vistarayanti, expand it. So you bring me riches, right? You expand it. Vitanvana means vistarayanti, or expand it, make it, grow it more, those kinds of meaning, right? Kurvanaha chiram. See, again, this is a Vedic usage. It's actually chiram. Chiram becomes chiram. Siksham vyakyasam. There is no siksha, there is only siksha. In Vedic usage, it became dirgha. Same way, it says chiram. Chiram is chiram. Chiram is forever or without delay. Achirat means, So, chiram atmanaha, for me. For me, what should happen? Wealth must come, wealth must expand, wealth must come immediately, and then sarvada also is there, all those are there. Now the question is, what kind of riches they are asking through this prayer, through this japa, the homa mantra. So he says, vasa gumsi, vasamsi. Gum is, Vedic usage in vasamsi, which means food. No, it is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Food, clothing, shelter is what they are asking. This is what modern management talks about, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the first three needs. For annapanena sarvada, food is there, clothing is there. All those are here. So it says, vasamsi, mama gavascha, give me all my cattle, right? Give me cattle for me, gavascha. Annapanecha sarvada, forever. Let these remain. I may not be deprived of this. So this is asking for social security. So the prayer is social security. Give me food, clothing, shelter forever. That is social security. What else is social security? That is social security. So he says, give me clothing for me, give me my cattle, annapanecha sarvada. Right? Not only that, lomashaha, lomasham, dvitiya vibhakti. Lomasha is strilinga. Okay? Lomani is hair. Roma and loma are through two names for hair. Okay? So it says lomasha is one who is full of hair. That is a corrected, translation of the word lomasha. One who is full of hairy, full of hair. It actually means goat, or the wool is obtained from it. That's the way he is buying. These rishis are all in the cold region, sub-Himalayan terrain and the Indus Valley and all that, which is 40 degree, above latitude. They are all very cold climate. So, wool is very, very important. In Indian wool, pashmina and all those are very famous. This belt is a very famous belt of wool actually. That is being indicated by lomasham pashubihi. Hairy animals, which means I want all kinds of security, is what is being indicated. Pashubihi saha. Also all kinds of cattle. Now why cattle? No, we should go back to this time. In fact, why should you go this far? You go to until the steam engine was found. Until the 1650, when electricity as a force was discovered. Found means it was always there, it was discovered. Whether Newton found or not, apples are always falling only. So after Newton found it, of course we called it gravity and all that. So in the same way, Till 16th century, I think wealth can be measured only with cattle. It is all horsepower. Literally horsepower. Your economic well-being can be measured only by your cattle, because cattle is your motive power. Cattle is your machinery, sort of. The modern day machines equivalent are the cattles. So how wealthy you are is measured by cattle. That's why there is this very famous Upanishad and a very famous episode involving this great sage Yajnavalkya. I don't know how many of you are aware in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. What happens is Janaka actually said, people can answer my question. He had 1,000 bulls, and on the horns of the bulls he had swarna tied. So all these great rishis are all there trying to know what to do. Yajnavalkya came in. He called his Sishya. He said, take all the bull and go. No questions have been asked yet. He came in, he said, take all the bull and go. So the other rishis and the so-called learned people are very agitated. They thought this person is too arrogant. So he asked, what do you mean? King has said there is a big question he has, and those who answer the question will actually take these 1,000 bulls and go, and you have the audacity to take the bulls and go. So Yajnavalkya says, I do not know about all that. I am in need of these bulls. In his own characteristic way he says, no, I am in need of these bulls, because bull is a measure of economic prosperity. That's why I am telling this story. Let's say, Lomasham Pashubhisaya Swaha. Then of course, this whole Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is the conversation between Janaka and Yajnavalkya. So he said, Abhayam vai prapto si Janaka. You became fearless. At the end he said, you really became fearless and so on. So that is why cattle, wool generating goats, cattle, all these are measure of economic prosperity. So they are saying, give me material richness. Make me the richest person is what they are asking through this prayer. So our ancient Indians don't ever have this iota of imagination. They were not interested in wealth and health and so on. Only because they were interested, they also found some interesting things, which we do not know how they found. That's a different issue. But necessity is the mother of invention. So they found very nice things for themselves because they wanted richness. They were never found wanting in asking for, give me the best of everything. So that's how the mantra starts. So we'll move on. Then it says, Amayantu brahmacharina swaha, Vimayantu brahmacharina swaha, Pramayantu brahmacharina swaha, Damayantu brahmacharina swaha, and Shamayantu brahmacharina swaha. Now the next thing that he is talking about is brahmachari. Question is, why are they asking about brahmachari? This is another issue. First of all, the word brahmachari has to be clarified. So brahmachari is generally, moment you say brahmachari, only two things come to our mind. One, we think it is an ashrama, brahmacharya ashrama, or we think these are all young unmarried bachelor boys who are in the Gurukula or something. While both of them are partially true, both of them are generally true. Why should I say partially true? Generally true. What brahmachari is brahme charati saha brahmacharihi, or brahmam acharati. There are two ways. Either he should tread into knowing the ultimate truth. That person who treads into knowing the ultimate truth, who has the deep desire to practice, imbibe and be like that, the facets, the portals of great truth which are established, they are called brahmacharis. Of course, what happens is those brahmacharis happens to be young, they happen to be of a certain age, and so generally, but somebody a little older who is doing it is also brahmachari in that sense of the term. So anyway, the point here is, why is he asking for students? And he put certain things about students. Now this is another charm of our ancestors' thinking. They think that it is very important. You will see it very soon in Taittiriya Upanishad, the three anuvakas later we will see. Satyancha swadhyaya pravachanecha, dharmancha swadhyaya pravachanecha, like that we will see. they greatly believed knowledge has to be acquired. Everybody has a responsibility to transfer the knowledge down to the generation. It's very, very important. The baton must be passed. The torch must be handed down. So these are all the prayers, these are all students who are passing out. Remember, at the end we will see. First chapter of the Taittiriya Upanishad, the Guru is telling so many ideas to him. Why? He tells you may be a student now, but understand your wish list is that you should have a lot of students. Because only then all the effort that I have put with you will fructify. Think about it, I did a PhD and I have nowhere to go and teach. What a tragedy would that be? In fact, this is the tragedy of a lot of Sanskrit professors in India. They have no students. They do a PhD in Sanskrit. They have 2 students, 1.5 students, they are asked to teach history and something. This is what is happening in this country. That should not happen. And I am talking about those who are in the profession of learning. And those in the profession of learning must actually also wish for, so the prayer includes, please give me students. So that my effort of 12 years of learning becomes worthwhile and it grows in stature, it becomes more and more. I hand the torch down. So that is why this is coming. So saying Sishya Prapti, give me good Sishyas. That is the next prayer. See how wholesome and how multi-dimensional they were in asking. Now, again here, there are some licenses given in this mantra which violates Vyakarana. For example, Amayantu. So what happens is, in Sanskrit grammar, the upasarga is attached only to the verb. Jnana, you can say pragnana, vijnana, samjnana, abhijnana. So abhi, sam, pra, vi, these are all upasargas, prefixes. Prefixes are always attached to the verb. But in Vedic thing, what you will find is, they will detach the prefix and put it elsewhere. That's why you can't read just, it requires a little. So here, the a must go to yantu, ayantu. That is one you see. Second, ma is not, ma actually in Sanskrit means mastu. No, don't. It's an indeclinable. Ma means mastu. Here ma doesn't mean that. Ma actually means mom. It is a second case of I. To me or for me or of me. That is where it is. So it is, so what you should say, Brahmacharinaha, the Visarga has gone in Sarga, in the Sandhi. Brahmacharinaha mam ayantu. That is what he is saying now. In the first line what he is saying is, let students come unto me. Ayantu. This A has to go into the yantu. Ma has to be split out now. And ma is actually mom. Now once you do it, now it paka. It says, mam brahmacharinaha ayantu. Swaha is, it's a homa karma. So that's a termination. So let's not explain swaha anymore. So first of all he says, amayantu brahmacharina swaha. Then he says, vimayantu. So again now the upasarga, V has to be split and it should be put there. Okay? So what V ayantu? V means, the upasarga V means vivida. Vivida can mean many things. Vivida means different types of students. Students from different places. Vivida is a common tag. Interpretation is something which we can do. So it says vivida, students come unto me. That means let them come from all over the place. That is one meaning possible. Another meaning possible, let all different types of students come to me. That's also possible. So that's the second prayer. Vimayantu brahmacharinaha. Then it says pramayantu brahmacharinaha. Pra, the upasarga pra means prajnanavantaha. People who are very alert. People who are very able. People who are, desirous of gaining knowledge. Anxious to gain knowledge is what I have written here. Take whatever you want to take in terms of that meaning. The pra upasarga has all that. Give me students of that kind. So that is the third prayer. Pramayantu brahmacharina swaha. Then says damayantu. See, students, learning If there are two things which are not there, learning will not happen. Learning will be hugely challenged if there are two things that are not there. One is Dhamma, another is Shama. Dhamma is exactly the opposite of Mada. Mada is inebriated state. Mada means the elephant is as Mada. You can't do anything about it. The senses are out of control. Inebriated state is called Mada. That's why Unmattaha Bhutaha. These are all coming from that. Mada. Now, if people cannot control their responses to the outside world, that means their indriyas are not in focus. If their indriyas are not in focus, learning is difficult. People who cannot focus cannot learn well. If they get slightest sound distracts them, or something distracts them, they will never be a great student by any stretch of imagination. So that is the Dhamma. Dhamma is a control with respect to the outside world. Danta, right? That's called Dhamma. Dhammayantu brahmacharya. So let me have students whose indriyas are focused. That's why in our scheme of things, before they see the money, before they see the riches of life, education must get over. Otherwise education is not going to happen. Today, first we give them a mobile and an Android app on the mobile, and all that is all distraction. Our ancient thinking is that 12 hours grill them into a treadmill. Because that is a time of age in which, there are three types of, examples they give in terms of how this thing is. One they say is camphor. Other they say is a wet stem of a plantain. Then they say a reasonably dried bunch of stick. So camphor, you touch, it will immediately, So these kids between the age of 6 and 18 are like camphor. Its absorptive capacity is next to what you can imagine. There is no parallel to it. So our ancestral system, that's why it said, take them out. That's why the Rajaputras are also taken to a place where they were denied of absolute riches. Whereas today in every engineering college there is one management quota and there is one 5-star hotel inside each engineering college hostel. Because they are all management quota, give them sofas and TVs in their rooms and so on. They are not going to read, they are going to create ruckus. That is what is happening. All these engineering colleges, management quota and medical colleges, I do not know. I know about engineering colleges. So Dhamma is very, very important. If you leave them without distraction, they are all like camphor. They will pick like anything. So that is Dhamma. So he says, get me students like that. Then it says, Shamayantu brahmacharina swaha. Shama is internal control. It is not external control. In fact, you told something, I shout back, that is Dhamma. That is Mada. So if I controlled it, I have reached Dhamma. But what I can do is, internally I can, unleash so much violence on you. I don't have to say. Moment I don't like it, I use my manas, sukshma indriyas, not the stula indriyas. If you use stula indriyas, you give a punch. If you are able to hold on to it, the next step is Shama. Even under your thought, that is a great, learning in Jainism. Na? Even in thought, even in action, even in your deeds and thinking, you should have ahimsa. That is called Shama. So it is your ability to develop calmness inside. Right? The most frequent example I give is people start fasting and throughout think about the favorite food. There is no Shama, there may be Dhamma. This is a classic example. And you are waiting when, the next time when I am supposed to officially break the fast and eat, I will really, compensate for it. Take the hell out of the food. So that means we don't have Shama. In chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, there is a nice shloka and he says, Rasavarjaha rasopi is what he says. He says, you can be, without food, but that is not, Sthita prajnasya lakshana. You can be without food, always thinking about food. That's no good. Sthita prajna will not even be like that. He will have Shama. So it is much higher level. So I think the order is, Dhamma is very important. First level. Once we are able to get Dhamma, we should now progress towards Shama. which means sense control internally at the thought level, not necessarily at the action level. So he is asking for some great qualities of teachers, students. Why? Because he says, let these 12 years that you have put in, let it not go into waste. That's reason one. Reason two, you have a great responsibility to carry the torch. Knowledge must be handed down. You can't be so selfish that I have learnt everything and nobody's problem. That's why in this country there is an acute shortage of teachers, because people said, I will learn and go. That's it. They say, I will not come for teaching job. Because they say, you give me money, other come. So they have a certain perspective which is, I would say, a little narrow. If somebody is extraordinarily good, I would like them to come to teaching. Because that is a good thing. Society requires all kinds of things here. Today we don't have, because they think there is no money, so let me get out. So you have all, because they throw peanuts, so monkeys come, all kinds of problems happen. This is where we are stuck today in this country. Whereas he says, get good students, and not that all the good students get into Infosys and Cognizance and things like that. They should also carry the torch. That is the intention of this prayer. So that's the second set of prayer. Then he says, so first he said, give me riches, material wealth. Give me lomasham pashubis sahaswaha, annapanecha sarvada vasamsi mama gavascha. Give me all economic well-being, all that. Then he said, give me good students. Right? Then he says, yashaha jane, amongst the people, yashas. Yashaha asani. Asani is a Sanskrit, it's a lot form of as dhatu. As means to be. Asti. Asti is the present tense singular. So if you want wish to be expressed, this is lot. Benediction, all those, Ashirvada, all those are there. So in us, and this is Parasmay Pada, which is a version of verb, and Uttama Purusha, singular. First person singular wish making. So he is making the wish. So Asani, Bhavani. There is a beautiful shloka, 22nd shloka in Saundarya Lagari. Wonderful shloka. Bhavani tvam dase, mayi vitara drishtim sakarunam iti stotum vanchan katayati Bhavani tvam iti yaha. It's beautiful shloka. He says, Bhavani tvam dase, Adi Shankaracharya say, hey Bhavani, I am your dasa. Iti stotum vanchan. I want to say that. I have a desire to say to the goddess standing in front of her, hey Bhavani, I am actually your dasa. This is what I want to say. Bhavani tvam dase iti, Bhavani tvam dase iti shotum vanchan. That's what he says. Then he says, Bhavani tvam iti yaha. So in order to say that, he said Bhavani. He has uttered the first word. Now the interpretation of that word Bhavani is I wish I were you. Like Asani, that Bhavani. Bhu Dhatu. So the Adi Shankaracharya's interpretation is, I wanted to tell you, hey Bhavani, I stotum vanchan iti katayan. I wanted to say that Bhavani tvam dase mayi vitara drishtim sakaranam, you show your grace to me. Iti stotum vanchan Bhavani iti yaha. Moment I said Bhavani, the goddess understood, I wish I want to be like you, so I will give you all the riches. That's how that shloka is. So that Bhavani means I wish I were you. So he says Asani. As is another dhatu, same meaning. I want to be like you. So what I want to be like what? Amongst the people, I want to be the one with fame. Yashas. Yashaha. Right? Yashaha jane asani. So give me that fame. I want to become very reputed, very credible and fame, all that. That's what, which will give me success. Then he says, Shreyan vasya sosani. Shreyan vasyasaha. Vasyasaha means those who are wealthy. Those who are endowed with riches. Amongst them I should be even better. So they were never found wanting to give me the best of the wealth. Now the question is, why does a teacher wants the best of wealth? That's a question that will come. Now they have, in fact, if you understand it clearly, you know why MIT and Harvard are working today. MIT and Harvard are working on corpus which are billions of dollars. Do you know what is the bane of Indian, let's say IIM Bangalore? Do you know what is the bane of this place? We have nothing as corpus. We waste all our time in bringing money. That's why we teach. We can't do research. They will do all kind of ranking and say you are not doing research. We can't do research. Because if we do research, nobody pays for research. So this Gurukula is only doing research. So they have to be endowed with material wealth. Because the Sishyas who come to the Gurukula are entirely taken care by the Guru. It's a residential school. Antevasi we saw in the first thing. Antevasi is one who resides inside. These are all residential schools. So boarding, lodging, everything must be taken care. Give them food, clothing, shelter and so on. Give them great knowledge. Where is the money coming from? So that is why he says, amongst the wealthy, make me the wealthiest. So that the corpus is there. And this is not what is in it for me. So he says, it is talking about the corpus. That is how I understand this shloka, this particular prayer. Today, Harvard and Stanford and all these big things are sitting on a huge corpus. We are begging for corpus for the last 10 years. Nothing is happening. Nothing. We have no corpus. And if you have no corpus, 70% of our revenue, 75% of our revenue comes from the long hours of teaching which we do either in our executive education or in our, all kinds of programs that we do. After that, research is not at 6 o'clock you start writing a paper, at 7 o'clock go and teach the program, at 8:30 come again. You can't do research like that. You have to be left alone. It will click, it will not click. When I was writing my book, one day I came to my room here at night 9 o'clock. I went morning 4 o'clock, one chapter over. That day I had the mood. I sat in that management review editor's room from 9 o'clock I started. I never went home that day. One chapter I wrote later because that's how it is. Thinking, suddenly there is a bout of thinking that will come. So research requires space, unencumbered. They are all not there. So this Shreya, that Shreya is asking to me, it means that allow the Rishi to think. If he has to worry about how am I going to take care of these 100 children who are with me, he will do nothing. All the effort will go only in that. That is the bane of Indian institutions today, which is in contrast with this. Anyway. Then he says, Tantva Baga Pravishani Swaha. Hey Baga. Baga is a Sambodhana. Bhagavan. The word we know is Bhagavan. The word Bhagavan comes from the word Bhaga. Okay? Buddhiman. Dhanavan. Bhagavati. Dhanavati. Buddhimati. One who is endowed with a property, get that pratyaya, mat pratyaya and all that which becomes van and vati in some. So, Bhaga, one who is nothing but Bhaga, is called Bhagavan. And that Bhagavan is that Nirguna Brahman. So, what is the meaning of Bhaga? I have the next slide in which the meaning is there. We'll go and then come back here. So, what is the meaning of Bhaga? Bhaga means, this shloka says, this is a shloka, I don't know the source. It says, Aishwaryasya samagrasya Viryasya yashasaha shriyaha Jnana vairagyayos Shannam Bhaga itarina. He says a person who is endowed with 6 kinds of things in absolute perfection, they should be endowed with 6 things. What are those? Samagrasya Aishwaryasya, lordship on everything, whole world. You have Prime Minister of India who has lordship only, I don't know on whom, but at least we can say technically India. Like that. This is saying Samagrasya Aishwaryasya. Ishwara. Adhina. That is property 1. Okay? Viryasya. It's all vitality and strength and virtue and so on. Perfection again. 3. Yashas, which is glory. Fame and glory. Ultimate of glory. Perfection. Shriya, which is wealth. Shri. Fortune. Wealth. Whatever you want to say. Again, perfection of that. That is the right. 4th. Then jnana, wisdom or knowledge, the perfect knowledge. Satyam jnanam anantam brahma. That's what it says. It's the embodiment of knowledge, ultimate knowledge. Who has that? And vairagya, dispassion or non-attachment. You will not find all in the same person. If you find somebody, he is Bhagavan. So that is the definition. Bhaga. one who is endowed with all this is called Bhagavan. He has nothing but only Bhaga, that's why he is called Bhagavan. So that's the meaning of the word Bhaga. So we'll go back to the earlier slide, that's where that is being referred there. Bhaga, Tantva Bhaga. So Pravishani, again I wish Twa Tam Twa Bhaga. Hey Bhaga, Tvam Pravisha. Pravishani, I wish you enter into me. Which means you bless me, you be part of me. You take charge of me and become part of me. That is a kind of a prayer he is making. Right? No, I want to. Pravishani, I wish I can enter into you. The other one is the second part. Okay? Pravishani is I wish I can enter. I wish I can enter where? Tvam. Hey Bhaga, Tvam Pravisha. Pravishani. I wish I were to enter into you. That's the next prayer. Right? Saha Mam Bhaga. Ma is again Mam. Saha Mam Bhaga Pravisha Swaha. You enter onto me. In other words, get me to that ultimate truth. That Aikya Bhava. Give me that Jiva Ishwarya Aikya Bhava. Jiva and Ishwara Aikya Bhava. You grant me that. This is a very grand asking. It's not asking, small one little job, one promotion. They go to Swamiji's, they ask only this. My daughter has to be married, my promotion is not happening, my transfer is not happening, I have a headache for the last 2 months. This is all they ask. Some very, eminent Swamijis, they could have asked better things here. This is what they are asking. Whereas they are not asking these chota things. They are asking real big thing. They say, Jiva, Ishwara, Aishwarya, Aikya Bhava, give me. That's what they are asking through these two mantras. Right? Tasmin Sahasra Shake. Right? Sahasra Shake in 1,000 branches. He says, these are all for Omkara. Again, remember, Omkara is the alambana for this entire anuvaka. Remember that. He says, in you there are 1,000 branches. That's what he says. And in you there are 1,000 branches. So what does that mean? There are several ways we can actually interpret what is these 1,000 branches. Because these are all very nice things that one can actually think of. 1,000 branches actually there are many ways we can understand. First thing we can understand is Omkara, which is the representation of all these Vedic wisdom, is what is being indicated. But more than that, look at Bhagavad Gita. What did it say? Ye yata mam prapadyante tamstateva bhajamyaham. And all roads lead unto me. This is, so in other words, you can be reached in 1,000 ways. That is a thing that is being made here. So many such references in many of those. It says you can be reached, Sahasra Sirisha Purusha, Vishwatava Mukhaha, Sahasram Vishwatava Mukhaha. So many references are there. You can be reached, that's why we have 330 million gods. We don't have one God, we have only God, which manifests in so many ways. The Vibhuti Yoga of Bhagavad Gita reminds us that God is everywhere, God can be reached in any ways, in any number of ways that you want. Those are all we should remember when we say Tasmin into that, unto that or into that, Sahasra Shake, 1,000 branches. The destination can be gone in any number of roads. That is what it says. Again, this ni, visarga, upasarga, must go to mrije. So you have to detach from here and add it to nimrije. Nimrije is clean, purify, or that's the meaning. Okay? Hey Bhaga, aham twayi nimrije. So let me be purified by you. That's what, you have to detach all these, attach there and so on, and then get it. Hey Bhaga, aham twayi nimrije swaha. In you, let me get purified. Your thought and your thinking and the way by which I have come, there are 1,000 ways to reach you. I will reach whichever way I am reaching. You purify me. Make me the ultimate embodiment of purity, is what it is being told through this mantra. Then it ends with the last mantra of this anuvaka, which says, Yata apaha pravata ayanti, yata masa aharjaram, evam mam brahmacharinah, dhatarayantu sarvata swaha, prativeshosi pramabhagi pramapadyasva. He says, just like water always flows moment water starts from a very distant mountain somewhere, it will ceaselessly flow. It will flow in various ways for a single pointed destination. What is the destination? Sindhu Sarid Vallabham. The ocean is the, the counterpart of the river. That's why, since it is ceaselessly running towards the ocean comes 10 kilometers inside to receive. That's called backwaters. Because it has only a single pointed destination. It runs ceaselessly. Even if you put a dam, it finds somehow to get out of it and then keep running. It runs to reach its ultimate destination. Like that. Yata masa aharjaram, like these months, days becomes months. Ahas is day. Masas, jaram, jara, which means old age. In other words, like the time ceaselessly flows. So there are two ceaselessly flowing ideas mentioned here. One ceaselessly flowing idea is water. Another ceaselessly flowing idea is time. Time, kalo jagat bhakshakah. Time will eat everything. Time will ceaselessly flow. Nothing else will flow. So like that, give me a continuous stream of yata masa aharjaram evam, like that. Mam brahmacharina, give me students like that. Let me have a continuous flow of students. Let me not be in a situation where there are no students. I learnt a lot of knowledge which I can't even share, like the poor Sanskrit professors of this country are going through today. Let it not happen. So he says, let the water which flows continuously, like the days and time flows ceaselessly, like that give me students. That's what he says. Dataraha ayantu sarvata swaha. Let all these, Data is one who is the giver. Give me that great knowledge. Let that great knowledge come from everywhere to me. Again, make a very broad pitch of the prayer that he wants to make. Then he says, Prativeshosi. See, wish means to enter. That's why it's called visa. Visa is to enter. Most English words have come from Sanskrit root only. Wish means to enter in Sanskrit. Pravesh. Right? That's why you get pravesh. Right? So, this is prativeshaha. Prati is to return. To enter back. Or to, when you are tired, you come back. So he says, you are nothing but my rest house. You are my ultimate refuge. Wherever I go, finally I have to reach you. Where else will I go? Oh Lord, you are my ultimate refuge. Wherever I go, finally I have to come there. So you are my rest house, you are my ultimate refuge, Prativeshosi. Right? Again the pra will go with ba and then mom will remain. Mom means me. Ba means light. This country is called Bharata. Bharata, you know why? Rata comes from the word Ramyate iti Rataha. So we are supposed to be a country in which we revel in brightness and knowledge. Bharat. Bha is light. Rata is Ramyate. Uparamyate, Uparati, Rati, all that we are saying. One who revels. Let's say Rati. Rati is, pleasing and very, attractive. So for us, knowledge is attractive. That's why this country is called Bharat. So Bha. Give me that light. Make me, enlightened. Make me enlightened. That is the meaning of this Pramabahi. Pramapadyasva. You come unto me. Prapadya. Prapadya is to come to me. Prapadyasva, you come unto me. So that is how this anuvaka 4 ends. It will take 2 minutes. Just conclude the anuvaka with Ayushankara as a nice summary to what he felt this anuvaka is pointing to. I will just do that. So this anuvaka has introduced 2 methods of prayers. One is japa, which is, yas chandasam rishabo vishwarupahar shutam me gopaya, up to that. It's vachika. So vachika sadhana. The other is the homa, swaha, swaha, it is coming. So that is the kaika, body, you use your body and do that. And there are 5 things, the prayers is asking for 5 things in this anuvaka. One is Medha Shakti, that's how it started. Brahmana koshosi medaya pihitaha, sutam me gopaya, that's how it ends. It says, give me Medha, right? He says, of course, the second Medha in Brahmana koshosi Medha is a worldly knowledge, but the first part of the Medha talks about the Dharana Shakti and so on. First it asks for intellectual prowess, first part of the Japa mantra. Then dhana prapti, he says, give me, lomasham pashubi sahaswaha annapanecha sarvata vasam simam agavascha, give me all material wealth. Shri amavaha, tato me Shri amavaha, let Shri come unto me. So we ask material prosperity, we ask Yasha and Shreyas, Vasya Shosha and Iswaha, all those we saw, no? So Yasha and Shreyas Prapti is the third prayer. Chitta Shuddhi, you come unto me and then enlighten me. Get me, enlightenment. So that is Chitta Shuddhi. Purified mind I want, please, bless me with that. And then of course Sishya Prapti. Ama yantu brahmachari naswaha, give me good students. So that is the high pitch of this anuvaka. It really puts us on a high ground and says, ask grand things. Pray for grand things. The teacher is telling the students who are going to pass out. That's what chapter 1 of Taittiriya. Train your mind for greater things in life. Ask for better things in your life. Position you. This is the convocation passing out address. That's why, it pitches it at that level. So Shankaracharya ends his Bhashya on this Anuvaka. He says this. He says the prayer in this Anuvaka is for prosperity, lot of prosperity in the context of knowledge, because without knowledge prosperity has no meaning. It is wasted one. So in the context of knowledge, this Anuvaka prays for prosperity. Why? He says wealth is needed for performing whatever karmas you want to do. You need the right knowledge and the wealth. You can do all your karmas, nitya, naimitika, whatever, kamya, nishkamya, whatever it is, prayaschitta, whatever karmas you do, you need wealth. Without that, what karma? So wealth. And the karma is required. That's the only way you can, remove your accumulated sin. That's our scheme of living. That's why you must have a dharmic living, then only spirituality. Achara, vichara is very, very important. Without that, spirituality will not come. Without chitta shuddhi, it will not happen. That's what he says. He says, when you remove the accumulated sins, then on exhaustion of the sins, knowledge automatically becomes. So knowledge is not to be acquired. See, if it is science or management, you have to acquire because it is not in you. Whereas the Brahma Jnana is with you. It is covered. You have to peel the layer now. Once you peel the layer, it manifests. That's what this Mahabharata in Shanti Parva, in the Moksha Dharma, this shloka is there. It says the same. Bhishma is saying the same thing to Yudhishthira. What is he saying? He's saying, Jnanam Utpadyate. The Jnana reveals. Jnanam Utpadyate Pumsam, in a person. How? Kshayat. By Kshayat. By the shrinkage of what? Papasya karmanaha. When your sins disappear, it's like, the cloud is protecting the sun. Slowly the layer of the cloud becomes thinner and thinner, becomes bright. It shines with all its purity. Yada Adityavat, all these are there in Bhagavad Gita. This shloka is there in Bhagavad Gita. Same shloka is there. In chapter 5, this shloka is there. Just like, sun shines and it is camouflage, some 15th or 16th shloka, that is where it is. So in the same way, Kshayat Papasya Karmanaha Pumsam Jnana Utpadyate. How? Yata, like that. Like what? Adarshaha. Adarshaha is mirror. Adarsha is mirror. Adarsha Tale, in a plane of mirror, you are able to see yourself when the dust is removed. Again in chapter 3, 43rd shloka or 41st shloka, same idea is there. Ulbanam. There is this one nice shloka which says when you remove all these, the sishu which is in a mother's womb, when you remove all the camouflaging things, the child will become bright and come out. The three examples. A mirror which is all smoky and dusty, you wipe the mirror, it becomes clean. All these are in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. Same thing he says. Yata adarshatale prakye pashyat atmanam atmani. One can see oneself. When the mirror is clean, so the cleaning act is what for all these are. This is Shankaracharya saying, why do you need wealth? Wealth is needed because through wealth you can take away your sins. Today the paradigm is with wealth you actually acquire a lot of sins. Paradigm is slightly different. We are acquiring a lot of sins through wealth for a certain reason. So anyway, so with this Sikshavalli's fourth Anuvaka is over. So next week we will see the Bhurbhuvasva Vyahriti Anuvakas. There are two Anuvakas, two Upasanas which we will see in the next class. Thank you.